Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name's Fred Weller. So today it's a bit sad for me because I've watched another group that I play in lose a player, and a lot of groups go through this. It came down to really people not having an agreement, an understanding of the code of conduct at the table. So, people have called it the social contract, other people have called them gaming agreements. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so I know a lot of people like to apply social contract theory to Dungeons and Dragons or role-play games. And that's fine, because some elements do actually exist in the game. And I'll go over that as we go through my list, which is quite long. But basically they are things that really are tied to our society's laws. They are given. They're often not spoken about. They're often not written down. They're just there. Whereas there's the other side of that, and that's your gaming group agreement. That's the things that you guys have decided this is what we expect at the table. And that's very different from the social contract concept. And they can be different for any group, because you don't necessarily have to have an agreement for every single thing, only when it sort of seems like it would be a good idea or necessary. So we'll go over this. I have about 14 different items. It's going to take a little while. Okay, so part of this is about 6 months, 8 months ago, it might have been about 6 months ago, I actually wrote a social contract. You can call it a social contract, you can call it a gaming contract. And I've added a few more things because I did realise that it was sort of a bit incomplete and it was a bit repetitive sometimes. But fundamental for me is that the welfare of the gaming group and the people in the gaming group, really, they need to come before things like role-playing your character. I know a lot of people don't like the sound of that, but really sometimes it's just destructive to a group. And even the rules. Really, you know, you're going to break up a friendship because of the rules that you're playing with in Dungeons and Dragons. Sometimes it's just not worth it. But, bearing in mind that's not a social contract concept. That's just something that I've applied to my group that I run. No violence. No threats of violence. No punching people. No abusing people, no swearing and cursing. It's not alright to bully people at the table. It's not alright to harass them, whether it be sexually or some other way. Okay, passive aggressive stuff. Really, all that can do is be destructive to your table. And lots of these things are very much social contract concepts because they are actually tied into the laws of our society. So they really need to be there. Now this is really obvious. No stealing from other people in the group, okay? And just common courtesy. If you want to borrow somebody else's player's handbook or their dice or their pencil, you need to ask them, not just grab it, okay? Those are things that are very much tied into an agreement within your group. They're often unspoken because not all of this is written down. Often it's just verbal, sometimes it's never spoken about. But stealing from other people, that's very much a social contract concept, okay? It's tied into the society law itself, so don't do it. It is a game, but it's not helpful if people are cheating, and to be fair, this is not just a player thing, this is the Dungeon Master too. I know a lot of people will say, well, the Dungeon Master can't cheat, they make the rules, but there is a point where consistency throughout the game in terms of the rules needs to stay there. And if the DM is changing the rules as they go, it really undermines the player's confidence in the Dungeon Master itself. So, don't cheat. Okay, this is not a social contract concept. Okay, this is just about the group that I run. So no disruptive behaviour. It's not alright to throw dice at people across the room. It's not alright to bump into the table and knock everything over. It's not alright to have your cell phone ring or decide to play games and video games at a table if it's disruptive in some way, whether your game is making a lot of noise or you're not able to focus because somebody's trying to talk to you and you're not responding. But phone calls, take the phone call away from the table. When you're finished, just excuse yourself, come back when you're finished. Simple stuff. Show people respect in the group. It's important. I want to be treated well, you want to be treated well, so you need to treat everybody else the way you would want to be treated. The Dungeon Master, for me, I've put this into the agreement so that it reminds me that I need to run a fair game for all the players at the table, and it needs to be fun. That's the deal. Okay, in my group, what happened more than a few months ago, and crops up from time to time, is people interrupting each other. I had players interrupting me when I was giving out descriptions for rooms, trying to answer questions, asking questions of players. It would happen between other players who would ask a question or try to speak to them in the game in combat or outside of combat, and they've got off-topic conversations going on. And really, there's a place for that, and that's sort of before the game, the off-topic stuff, and after the game. And when when you're setting up for a combat, it takes a little bit of time, so you can talk amongst yourself, but it isn't fair to talk over the top of other players or the DM. So I put this rule into my group because I had numerous people targeting other player characters with their spells and their abilities and their attacks, whether it be PvP intentionally or they classified it as this is what my character would do, or collateral damage. It didn't really matter. So basically I've set for my group that you need to ask the player before you cast a spell or use an ability that will affect their character in terms of causing damage or affecting them, and putting them at a disadvantage. You need to ask permission, out of the character obviously. This just reduces the amount of animosity at the table. I like this rule, it works well for me. I'm at the point now where I'm starting to have problems where people summon creatures and have animal companions, and people are targeting or killing their animal companions and summon creatures. I don't really want to apply this rule to that as well, but I'm hoping that I don't get to a point where I do have to do it just to stop people from getting upset. Okay, so the rules are complicated. It's complicated for the Dungeon Master, it's complicated for players, and when there are mistakes made, I've decided that we'll review that sort of stuff before the game or after the game, rather than during the game. Otherwise, I've had sessions where we've had anywhere from half an hour to an hour of discussion about how a rule should be operating, and back and forth debate between the player and the DM or another player. Two players arguing the point. And this can go on for ages, so often we need to just push that. I found this works really well. It means that people don't get upset that they've just lost all that time. Alright, so we talked about making mistakes, but whether it's applying the rules or making mistakes with applying your social contract, or just making mistakes with things like your group agreement, you need to forgive and forget. And this is really important. A lot of the people sitting at your table are your friends and probably have been your friends for many years. And there's the possibility that if you get past this, they might well become long-term friends for you if they aren't right now. Most of the problems I see at the table are not a result of a conflict between the Dungeon Master and the player. I've seen more between player and player, and had to sit there as a Dungeon Master, and I feel like a school teacher sometimes. And it's really not helpful if you're not working as a team. It's bad enough that you've got a Dungeon Master there trying to figure out how to challenge you, is another word of saying, or potentially kill your characters with their monsters. You don't need to be working against each other. Work as a team, don't instigate conflict between the group. Okay, even though you think it would be fun and interesting roleplay, it's just not worth it. The DM's doing all of that, whether they possess your character with a ghost or they control your mind with dominate, and you don't need to be doing that to yourself as well. Let the DM still sort that stuff out, okay? So try to create a character that fits with the party itself, and build in some links, so that your character actually knows some of the other characters in some way or has some sort of relationship. And then the chances of you having a conflict at the table is it's going to shrink. It's unlikely to happen. You don't have to have this rule or guideline in your group agreement. It's certainly not a social contract concept at all, but I really find that it helps. Okay, so every group is different, and in the group that I run, this is how I have decided to work it. And that is that the Dungeon Master makes the final ruling on all rules. If you're going to do it by consensus, whether you're going to have the Dungeon Master make the final decision on rules, and then you've got to just live with it. You know, if you don't like the decision, you've got to live with the decision. And if you don't like it, you've got to leave the group and move on. If you really feel that the rules have to be done this way. So what happens if somebody breaks one of the aspects of the social contract, which really we're really talking about social laws here? Well, it's pretty obvious. They need to leave the group. Really do. If you can get past it, that's great, but geez, sometimes that's pretty severe stuff. What happens if somebody breaks the group's agreement on how they would behave and operate when they're role-playing in the game? Well, that's really up to you. But I would say there's a couple of ways this can work. You're either going to forgive them, and they're going to do their best to try not to do it again. You are going to work through it and give them another chance. Or you're going to say, really, you've had your chance, we've had enough, and you need to leave. And then it can also go the other way. You know, if you find you're in the group and things are getting out of hand, you need to make that choice personally. I'm not finding it fun anymore. If you're not finding any fun anymore, then you need to go. And you need to go somewhere where you will be having fun. And that's really what it comes down to. But really, this whole video is not about breaking the group up. It really isn't. It's not about telling you this is how you have to do things. It's telling you this is what will help keep your group together. And that's really the most important thing. Okay, so that's everything for this particular video. I'm sorry if it wasn't particularly upbeat, but I really felt that it was a topic that needed to be done. And I had a look on on YouTube at some of the videos that have been done on this topic, and I didn't really feel that it wasn't complete enough. So this is my attempt. So you know the deal. Share, like and subscribe, and make a comment below. Tell me, has this sort of thing happened to you in your group where there's been an argument or a fight and it's led to somebody leaving, or the group just breaking up completely? Anyway, till next time, I hope all of your gaming experiences are better than mine have been recently.